Okay, we are streaming on YouTube.
Very good. I'd like to call to order the Whatcom County Fire Protection District Number 4 Board of Commissioners regular meeting for August the 12th, 2024. So we'll start with the roll call. Tim Johnson, Commissioner.
Mark Land, Commissioner.
Jason Vanderveen, Fire Chief.
And we'll note that our chair, Commissioner Cooley, is excused from today's meeting. So I will do my best to run us through our meeting in his stead. So to begin with, we'll start with public comment. And I'll open the public comment period. Is there anyone that wishes to make a comment today?
We've not received any public comment. I assume both of you received the letter that that I got as well. I didn't know if you wanted to discuss that now or probably needs to be discussed later in the meeting.
Okay. Would you like to discuss that during the correspondence?
Yes, just to acknowledge that we got it.
Very good. Okay. If there's no other comment, then we'll close the public comment period and move into our regular meeting. And the first item for our action today is approval of the consent agenda. All matters within the consent agenda have been distributed to each member of the Board of Commissioners for review, are considered routine, and will be enacted by one motion of the board with no separate discussion. If a separate discussion is desired, the item may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda by request. So on this month's consent agenda, we have the meeting minutes from July 15th, 2024. We have staff reports from the Chief Operations Training and Technical Support. We have financial report, which shows a total revenue in July of $51,251.24, and total expenditures for August of $2,565.50. And we have voucher payroll and benefits, which include a direct deposit payroll of $483, a monthly expenditure voucher of $2,082.50. Is there any item there that we want to pull out and discuss separately from the consent agenda?
Not for me.
Okay, thanks, Commissioner Land. I do not have anything either. So in that case, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I would move to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. I will second that motion. Any other discussion? All right. So all approve, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we have passed the consent agenda. So move into unfinished business. We have 4 items listed here today. The first item on unfinished business is the Department of Ecology's water adjudication. Do we have any updates this month on that? I have seen nothing about it since our last meeting, but anyone else?
No, I don't have anything new to add.
Okay.
Nothing to add.
Okay. Yeah, I believe this will be a long process, so, and probably a very slow one.
And it may be something we want to take off, and then as it pops up, that way we're not hitting it every month when it could be 14 months between updates.
Yeah, I'd agree. I don't think we need to keep rolling it over, to the next month's meeting until there's something substantial to deal with.
I support that too. And again, it's going to be a long process, so we'll put it back on when we have some additional news. Okay, second item on our unfinished business is Britton Road, Northern Heights annexation, if there's any updates since our last meeting there.
Yes, I've met with Chief Hewitt twice about this now. So it turns out that the city had some questions about the annexation proposal, I guess, or how they kind of counted their numbers. So they went back and forth with the developers. Sounds like that's why we've heard nothing. Is there's a difference between accepting and approving. Those words mean two different things. So initially, when we heard in like March or April that the city accepted the annexation proposal, now they've approved the acceptance of the annexation proposal, for lack of a better word. They've said, okay, we recognize this petition is correct. These people, this is all good to go. Like I said, it sounds like there was some kind of back and forth. The city maybe didn't agree with the way the developers had counted the numbers, but now they've come up with an agreement. So I have received notice that the city departments are in the process of reviewing the impacts of that proposed annexation. Chief Bill Hewitt from Bellingham Fire has asked to attend the next District 4 meeting so he can explain what's going to be in his report to the city, which is basically going to say he's going to require more staffing and that they're not able to take on the rural areas of the Fire District 4 should the fire district, should the city annex it. It's his and my opinion that it's highly likely that the city would be or could be forced to take all of Fire District 4, not just that annexed piece. And so he would like to discuss that. He and I need to look at some more things, but he would like to come discuss that with you and me all together at one in the September meeting. And the plan that the two of us have put together or want to propose to both boards is that we continue status quo through 2025. District 21 signs an agreement with District 4 for 2025, but that in 2025, District 4, the city, and District 21 meet in earnest to figure out where's the best home for District 21, District 4, in the city of Bellingham. How does this thing flesh out so that everything's in the right place? As you may be aware, District 21's levy lift did not pass. So that puts a strain on District 21. And we may not be the organization that you best want to be associated with. You guys are fully funded. You're in a different place than District 21 is. So I think we need to have that discussion as well. Anyway, that's what I know about the annexation today.
Okay.
And just to be clear, Jason, did I hear you say that you and Bill would like to have him come and talk at one of these, like a public monthly commissioners meeting, as opposed to just, on the side with either Steve, if he's able, or Tim or me?
I think that would happen. There'd be whoever the lead person wants to be, whether it's Steve or Tim or you, Commissioner Johnson or yourself. But I think he also wants to come on public record and say,
okay,
look, this is what I'm going to tell the city. So
okay, now that makes sense.
So the board knows and the public knows.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
So we can anticipate maybe some discussion with you and Chief Hewitt before the September meeting.
Yes.
By whichever one of us is available.
Yep.
Okay.
And let's get through the 15th, and then we'll see where Commissioner Cooley's at, and see if he wants to take the lead on that, or see if he wants to delegate that to one of you, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. But he would like to be, and I would encourage the board to have him be at the September meeting so he can share his report. So you'll be able to see exactly what's going to the city, and that way it'll be on public record as well.
Okay. Sounds like a good plan.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments, Steve? Or Mark, I'm sorry.
No, sorry, I just vanished there because I inhaled some coffee rather than swallowed it. So all's good.
You're all good. Okay. Um, Very good. Well, we'll look forward to discussions with City of Bellingham next meeting then. Okay, then we'll move on to our next item, which is Britain Loop Station 12 exterior project and
Um,
update on that.
Yeah, in our one piece of good news, Chief Ward has returned to work, and so he's back on the job helping me. Maybe the best word would be untangle what I've done with his job for the past 8 months. But in earnest, he's going to start working on getting multiple bids for the Station 12 exterior project, and we'll get that ball rolling again. So we did. The three of us met. Commissioner Cooley and I, and Chief Ward met, and so Commissioner Cooley said, just go with it, bring us the bids, and we'll go through the regular process.
Okay. Do we have an estimate of when we'll be getting bids back?
My hope is we'll have something at the September meeting.
Okay.
So,
That's great.
and then the fire engines, the same thing. We, I thought we had a relationship with a company that we could would be able to. They're part of a purchasing agreement. We call it a purchasing cooperative that we've used in the past. Unfortunately, North Wacom's had not a great experience with this company, so we're going to go out to bid as well for an engine, and that'll take 30 to 45 days to get those bids back. So I would anticipate having something for you at the next September meeting.
Okay.
Hey, sorry, but I'm very much a squirrel kind of guy. Just going back to Steve and maybe him being sort of needing to lay low. Do we need to be? Do Tim and I need to be like conscious of any kind of meetings or projects that he was working on? You know, to not delay things, because that I know he was involved at some point with you know, the remodel reciting thing, or am I just creating problems that don't exist yet?
No, with Chief Ward being back, I've got my guy. So
Okay,
we're good to go.
okay.
If
Sorry about that.
there's one of you, if one of you would like me or Chief Ward to report more directly to you about what kind of the status is of that between meetings, I'm happy to do so. But we're back and we're firing on as many cylinders as we got. So
Nope, sounds good. I just
okay.
didn't want to lose opportunities to, you know, be moving things forward if Steve had appointments or commitments or meetings and, you know, needed one of us to attend in his place or something.
No, the only thing he was really working on with me was the exterior project, and we hadn't really, based on his schedule, we hadn't really got it off the ground yet. So when he and I had a meeting, and I didn't tell him Chief Ward was back to work yet. So when he walked in and saw Chief Ward, he was all smiles, like, perfect. I was going to tell you I can't do this. So
Okay, good.
so, yeah,
Thanks.
he was happy.
All right. Anything else on unfinished business? No? Okay, then we'll move on to new business. We have two items for new business. The first is the BLS interlocal agreement that was added to our packet today. So, Chief, do you want to explain what we're looking at there on the agreement?
Yes. What that agreement is it is in the ALS levy. So that's the levy, EMS levy that the county has. There's a provision for funds to be distributed to each of the BLS responding agencies, of which District 4 is one, obviously. But we needed an agreement between the county and all the fire districts to talk about how that money would be dispersed. It's taken the fire chiefs about, well, almost a year to get that thing hammered out with the county. The county, frankly, kept kind of moving the goalposts. But I'm proud to say the chiefs held firm, and the agreement looks no different today than it does when we started. And so this provision would mean the distribution of funds to Fire District 4 in the amount of, sorry, I meant to look it up before meeting. I'm sorry, I don't have the total amount of funds. It's
Yeah, I can't help you. If I try to bounce back and forth, I end up losing the meeting. So
that's the problem. Yeah, I apologize. I should have. I was going to have this pulled up beforehand, and I didn't.
But it's the district share of $9 million over 6 years.
It's a district's share of $1.5 million between all the districts, and it's broken out by the number of BLS responses, and it follows essentially the same mathematical equation as the $9 million disbursement did a couple years ago.
Okay.
So,
and it looks like it covers a period of 6 years.
yes, and it will be $1.5 million spread over each of those years. So it's an annual payment.
Right. Okay.
and you're satisfied that District 4 is getting its fair proportional share in the.
Yes. Yep. We look at, and the closest comparable is really District 8. When we look at District 4 and District 8, they're relatively the same disbursement. I am sorry that I can't find that stinking.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's really spelled out in the agreement.
It's not.
Right.
They're supposed to be the.
Other than telling you what the allocation formula is going to be. So. So, Chief, I see where we as commissioners need to sign the agreement.
Yes.
Do we need to take action in this meeting as far as approving it or accepting it?
You do need to prove, yes, the agreement. Okay. It's a contract essentially.
Right.
So just because you mentioned it's a contract, I mean, is there any obligation to have it reviewed by the attorney, or has that already happened? Or, you know, whenever we sign contracts, that's just always a box we need to check.
So because of the difficulty in negotiating with the county, the fire chiefs actually hired Richard Davis of Schmeling, Sicken and Davis to help us to give us a little muscle on our side of the table. So this has been gone through by Richard Davis. The entire contract has, and I made the assumption, trying to save a few bucks, that if he's the attorney for Fire District 21 as well as multiple other fire districts in the county, I made the assumption that you would be satisfied with that. If that's, you want me to send it to Eric Quinn, I will. I'm happy to do so. But
No, I just
Yep.
it's just part of the process, you know. Since you said it was a contract, then that means I had to ask, you know, if we have any obligation to have it reviewed. Yes. And it sounds like you already have as part of the process. So we've come full circle.
I think we checked the box. The data I have is that District 4's BLS allocation would be about $74,000. $74,030.03 is what I have.
And that'll be for this current year?
2024. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, that is a good question about your attorney review. I feel comfortable with the fact that it has been reviewed on behalf of the fire districts. Any other questions, Mark, from you on the agreement?
Nope. What do you want the motion to say? Approve the EMS levy distribution?
Yeah, well, we're approving the BLS interlocal agreement for first response emergency medical services.
I would move that we approve the proposed BLS interlocal agreement as presented.
I will second that. Any other discussion about the agreement? Okay, then let's vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that'll pass. And this will be something we'll sign today, Chief?
Yes, I will get it. I'll let you know when it's in the envelope. So if you would hold off, this time I'm asking you to hold off on signatures until I text you to let you know that they're all ready.
Okay, very good. All right. So you going, that's the other item for new business that we had on our agenda for today was a discussion about a future planning session with District 21. I assume that's in light of the levy lid lift results.
Correct.
So
the District 21 had to have a special meeting last week for a repair issue. But in speaking with the board chair, he feels that it's very important that District 21 wants to be transparent with all its partners, whether it's public or with Fire District 4. And so at the District 21 meeting, which would be this Friday, they're going to come up with some dates for some future planning meetings, some more intensive sessions, and that Fire District 4 will be invited to those sessions. So I'll get you those dates, the possible dates, as soon as possible, or as soon as reasonable. And we'd love to have one or more of you in attendance for those discussions.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'd be very appropriate. I think it's important we have those discussions. So I would support that.
And it could be that we invite the city of Bellingham as well, because we're an auto aid partner with them, and they rely on us as well, and some northern, kind of the Coronado area, for quite a bit of assistance. So they're also a stakeholder in this, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were there as well.
Yeah, I actually think we should try to almost set it up that way, because why have meetings with us in 21 and then us in Bellingham when we can just all be together at the same time. We all know what needs to happen.
Correct.
And just do it that way.
Yep, I agree.
Sounds
Save a
good.
meeting.
Okay, so we'll hear potential dates soon then on
Yes.
those meetings. Okay. Is there any other new business that we need to tackle today? No?
No, sir.
Okay, so our next item is correspondence. And I saw none in the packet, but I know we received that email from a resident in Agate Heights. So should we take this time to discuss that?
Yeah. Yes, let me pull it up here. So I spoke with Mr. Mills on the phone and kind of described to him how the downgrade happened in his area, and that was basically the closure of Station 11 in the Agate Bay area, and that was done in 2020. And what happened there is, just to refresh history, that the district chose that station hadn't been manned in years and had not been in response. It had nothing responded out of there in years. It was kind of just left on the books, for lack of a better word. But the district eventually chose to surplus it and sell it, and that obviously triggered a re-rate in that area because it was accompanied by a letter from the fire district stating that they had sold it and that it was not staffed. There was no volunteers out of that station or anything like that. So that triggered a re-rate. And yeah, the WSRB holds pretty tight to that 5 mile radius. If you're not 5 road miles, then you're either in or you're out. And you're out. If you're not 5 road miles. So he asked if there was anything practical the district could do, and I explained that short of opening and staffing a station further south, that no, there's really not, other than work towards legislative changes. Because the bottom line is, and what I told him is, that your response hasn't changed for years. It's literally as good as it's ever been. And he's right. He brought up, well, we passed the levy, and this is what happens. And I said, yeah, I recognize that. I'm actually was kind of surprised that his insurance company took that long to catch up with the re-rate. But there's nothing the fire district can do about WSRB's rules. What's unfortunate, like I said, is WSRB doesn't take into account that the fire protection has not changed. And if they were to look at other fires that we've had even further south in there, that they have good outcomes, that the number of responders that show up in the auto aid agreement with Bellingham, they just go by the map. So I encouraged him to reach out to his legislators as well about why is this the rule and how come things are this way. I told him that as a fire chief, I work on it with other fire chiefs. Go to Olympia, try to go every year and be with legislators and talk about issues like this. But that there's nothing right now. There's nothing practical the fire district can do that can change this tomorrow or in the next 6 months or even the next year. So
right.
I saw he did ask for some follow-up, and I'm I did explain to him how the fire district is governed. So I don't know if with Commissioner Cooley kind of being out for right now, I don't know if one of you wants to work on a response letter or work with me on a response letter from the board. I'm happy to certainly help with that or give you some initial thoughts. But I do think we owe him the favor of a reply. So.
Yeah, I can certainly understand his frustration. And I do think we should provide a response to him. I'd be happy to work with you, Chief, on putting that together.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm sure it's difficult. I mean, and I'm feeling he's probably one of many out in that area that are seeing this change. So
Yes.
Yeah,
And
I think
just
that's great, Tim, that you're willing to help. I would almost suggest that it be written up in such a way that it could go to anybody out there. Because this isn't the first time it's come up. It won't be the last. And if you do end up drafting something, please feel free to sign it in such a way that it shows that it's on behalf of the board. Not just you as an individual commissioner, but I mean,
right.
I think you could send it on behalf of the board.
Okay.
It is unfortunate. We're seeing a lot. I'm seeing it a lot in District 21 as well. That insurance companies we're kind of, it feels like Washington's becoming California with insurance companies pulling out and raising, significantly raising their rates due to the using the climate change or extreme weather patterns or whatever. That's kind of what they're falling back on, and just the replacement cost of everything. We all know that the replacement costs have gone through the roof. So I think it's not just the fire protection classification. It's kind of the perfect storm of multiple factors that are causing these huge insurance, homeowners insurance leaps.
Yeah. And the reality is our levy lid lift from last year allowed us to maintain current services out of Station 12.
Right.
There was nothing as part of that lid lift that put another station back in that area.
Right.
But I can understand the frustration. So Chief, I'd catch up with you all offline and talk about maybe some talking points for that response.
Okay, will do.
And I like your idea, Mark, of we'll just make it on response on behalf of the board.
Yeah, great. Thanks for being willing to put in some time on that.
You bet. Okay. I don't believe we have any other correspondence to address today. So next up is our next board meeting. It's planned for September 16th. How does it look for you, Commissioner Land?
Yep, it's already on my calendar, so no conflicts.
Okay, very good. I can make that meeting as well. Any agenda items that we want to include for our next meeting?
No, I don't think anything that we haven't already talked about.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I don't have anything new that I'd like to see added. Chief, just I don't suggest this being an agenda item, but our newsletter for D4 residents has what's the status on that? Do you know, are we still holding on that?
We've been kind of working on it. Commissioner Cooley wanted to have some be in those meetings, and he's not been able to make it, so that's kind of pushed it back a bit. I will, we have, I'll reach out to you offline to see if you and I can set something up where we can meet with Liz Limbus and her crew and get that ball rolling. Would that work?
Yeah, I personally would like to see us getting some communication out to our residents.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm happy to work on that and while Steve's out. So
Got it. Okay. Yep. I'll send you, I'll put us all together in one email and see if we can schedule something here next week.
okay. Very good. All right. Well, next item, signing of documents. We'll be waiting on your word, Chief,
Yep.
on when that is ready. Do you think it's later today or tomorrow?
Later today or early tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Very
okay.
good. Very good. In that case, unless anybody has anything else they want to include for the meeting, we'll adjourn.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.